Hello, I'm Chris Wallace. If you just tuned in, we're about to begin the first Republican presidential primary debate. And if you're still with us because you watched our event with the lower polling candidates, we're sorry. Now, technically speaking, Governor Kasich should be participating in this debate, but honestly, who would you rather listen to? A boring governor from Ohio or Rick friggin' Perry? We thought so.
And I'm Brett Baer. Candidates, due to time restraints, we're limiting each response to 30 seconds, so make sure you make your point and make it quickly. And I'm Megan Kelly. We asked the candidates to refrain from personal attacks and keep their points very general and hit on buzzwords as much as possible.
You know, Megan, your voice sounds odd. It's strangely deep. You should get that checked out. Anyway, now that we the moderators have introduced ourselves, let's get on to the debate. Our first question will be a warm-up. How do we address the most pressing issue of our generation, namely global warming? Okay, seriously though, let's get into some background. What in your personal lives have motivated you to run for president, and how does your upbringing influence your values and policies? Governor Christie, you can lead us off.
I'm going to do what I do best, and that's keep it real. I grew up in the hard knocks of Livingston, New Jersey. My father worked at an ice cream factory to pay his way through Rutgers, and looking back at all the opportunities my parents afforded me, I want nothing more than to do the same for the American people.
All right, Governor Huckabee, your thoughts?
I didn't grow up with a lot of money, but I did grow up with a lot of hope. In Hope, Arkansas. And with the blessings of God, I've made it to this stage, and I believe I have what it takes to be president.
Okay, Senator Paul, you're next.
Well, you know, my parents worked really hard to help me get through medical training, and I became an eye surgeon for a very long time. You know, just last August, I was in Guatemala doing surgery and service for the poor people there. And I realized that the best way for me to serve my country was to help it see better. And that's why I believe I'm the best president and the best candidate here on this stage.
Governor Walker?
Well, you know, my dad was a small-time preacher, and my mom was a part-time secretary, and they instilled in me the values of hard work and dedication. And I want to spread that to this country and help create jobs so that from the richest to the poorest, this country is thriving again.
Mr. Trump, your thoughts on the matter?
Here's the deal. Unlike a lot of these other suckers on the stage, I've been a winner since day one. As soon as I was born, the doctor spanked me. I sued him for assaulting a minor. Made my first $1 million. True story. All I do is win. My last name is Trump. That's what I do. I trump. And that's what I'll do as a president. I will win, and I will add my success to the presidency.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. Always nice to hear from you. Your background and reason for running, Governor Bush?
I thought we agreed to just jab. I had a pretty basic family background. I went to Mexico where I met my wife. Me amo America.
Senator Rubio, if you may.
You know, both my parents were born poor in Cuba. My dad started working when he was 9 years old, but they both came to America to escape communism, and as my dad working as a bartender and my mother as a maid, they were able to support me and help me get to the place where I could become a senator and now become a candidate for the presidency. And I believe that I am the best candidate to move this country forward and bring it into the 21st century.
Senator Rubio, you are aware that we are almost 1/5 of the way into the 21st century, correct? Don't you think talking about the new century was more fitting in the 2000 election?
Psh, of course I know that the 21st century is already started and doesn't start in 2021, you know, like 21st. But I can see how someone who isn't as smart as me could be confused by that, you know? But you think my PR team would let me think that? No, I would fire them all right away.
Okay. Senator Cruz, your history and reason for running.
I think I know a lot about being an everyday American. My mother grew up in a house of 17 kids, so I know about sacrifice and cooperation. Imagine a kid who grew up thinking he was in the greatest country on the planet. He became a senator and decided to run for president without the help of billionaires. Well, that kid didn't make it, but I did, so you should vote for me.
Dr. Carson, your take on this?
You know, that's a great question because I think it strikes at the core of what's needed to be a president. You know, too often we worry about who has the most political experience, when really what matters is who is ready as a person. And you know, growing up with a single mother who had a third-grade education and tried to teach me and my brother, I believe that these has instilled me with the values I need to be president. And I believe that it's God's will that I be the next president and serve, because it's not the political class, it's about the people.
Governor Perry, you have the last word.
Thank you. Hey, cut the music. 1 second. Sorry, I was doing a little fundraising down in Texas. Now, speaking of Texas, that's where I learned all my core values. My father was a machine gunner in World War II. And then he came home and was a farmer down in Texas, where he was hoeing and stuff. And it was these values of hard work and ethic that made me the man I am today. And that man is ready to be the president.
Well, there were a lot of touching stories there. I'll now turn it over to Brett Baer for the next question.
Our next topic, the economy, is very impressing to many Americans. As the man in charge, what will you do to fix it? Senator Cruz? The best way to grow our economy is simple. Set a flat tax for everybody and get the IRS and government out of the way completely. Governor Walker?
You know, I took on the unions and I lowered taxes across the board. And besides that, I also made it harder for people to get welfare benefits. Or as I like to call it, easier to get a job. Because see, here's what I did. I made sure that everyone who was signed up for welfare was also signed up for a job training program to make sure they were ready to get off welfare. I also made sure they were all drug tested to make sure they weren't having any fun in their lives. And then I made sure that they had all of their mammograms and prostate exams in the town square so that we could all see that they were being healthy citizens. You see this money right here? Do you see this? This $7, I would rather spend this $7 at the local government than to give it to the federal government, who will waste it and spend it very badly.
Mr. Trump, your thoughts?
Look, it's simple. I know money. I have it, I make it, and I know how to make it. And I will make sure that this country will continue to make it, okay?
Great point. Senator Rubio, your plan?
What we need to do is let states return unused federal funds back to the government and make sure that the money is concentrated in the states' hands, and make sure that we are shrinking the federal government and allowing for our children to have less college debt and are ready to enter the workforce as soon as they leave high school.
Senator Rubio, isn't the idea of high school graduates being competitive in the job market a very 20th century idea?
No, how dare you say that? All my views are of the future, for the future, and from the future.
I see. Senator Paul?
You know, both parties are responsible for the economic crisis that we face today. You know, the debt doubled under President Bush, and now under Obama it's set to triple. And that's the deal. The problem is that we are just feeding this big government and getting bigger and bigger, and we need to return power and liberty to the people, to all people, rich and poor, white or they need the power for themselves. Wait, did you guys just censor the word black?
Well, this is a Republican debate. We wanted to take precautions against any possibly inappropriate comments.
Look, the bottom line is we don't need a Democrat light like some of these other candidates on the stage. We need someone who will be willing to come in, lower the corporate tax rate, and bring manufacturing jobs back to America.
Governor Bush, your ideas? In my 8 years as governor of Florida, we had 8 years of job growth, 8 years of a balanced budget, higher incomes for families, small business growth. My goal for America is simple. Make it more like Florida. Definitely a good way forward. Governor Huckabee? I've talked to God a lot about this issue, and we both feel it's proper to abolish the IRS and make April 15th a day of God once again. Dr. Carson, your plans?
Well, first we need to really step back and think about the $18 trillion in debt that we have that's piling up on our kids. And think about the fact that the labor force participation rate is so low. Not the unemployment rate that is manipulated by different facts and figures. The labor force participation rate is so low. We need to unshackle the economy, get government out of the way, and move forward. Let the people do it. We the people. We can do it. We don't need the politicians. We don't need the political parties. We as a people can do it.
Okay. Governor Perry? Now in Texas, I implored legislature to facilitate growth, and through vicious vicissitudes, I got Texas back on track. Great answers. For more, we move to the beautiful Megyn Kelly.
You totally skipped me, you idiot.
Sorry, Governor Christie, I thought you answered, but that was Donald Trump.
Hey, we're not the same guy. He's not the only one who tells it as it is.
Very true, but unfortunately we have to move on. Megyn?
Thank you, Brett. I'm sure you would have used that introduction with any colleague. Immigration is one of the most important issues facing this country. As president, what would you do to handle the situation? Governor Bush?
What did we say about the B word?
All right. When I'm president, Congress will work again. We'll pass legislation. The fact is, we can't deport 11 million people. We have to have a smart pathway to citizenship.
Governor Huckabee, your thoughts?
I do believe we should focus on securing our borders, which for the last 8 years, this administration has made the weakest in the world. However, we shouldn't kick out the children of illegal immigrants. We should offer them pathways to citizenship and opportunity.
Next up, Senator Cruz.
The problem with this administration is that they pander politically. The pathway to citizenship is simple. Come here legally. We need to secure our borders and get the illegals out.
Dr. Carson, you're next.
You see, the issue with immigration is that whenever we talk about it, we like to think of it as this faceless issue. But these are real people. These are real people whose lives are changing. These are mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and husbands and wives and holy, untainted heterosexual marriage. And these people, we need to provide a pathway to citizenship. We need to reform our immigration system and simplify it so these people can reach the great opportunities that we have in this country and that we have to offer.
Thank you. Governor Christie?
All right, I'm going to be 100% honest here. I used to believe in a pathway to citizenship, but after running New Jersey for so many years, I've seen how it works. I don't believe in a pathway to citizenship.
Well, thanks for telling it as it is. Senator Paul?
Well, it's obvious we need to make fundamental changes to our immigration system to simplify the process and make sure that more people can enter this country legally and enjoy these great liberties and opportunities that make this country great, instead of the bureaucrats in Washington passing more legislation that they don't read and that isn't effective.
Mr. Trump, any thoughts?
Well, Megyn, as I said before, what I would do is I would make Mexico build a wall. Then I would round up all the illegals in the country and deport them, and let the good ones come back through an expedited system.
Now, how would you find these 10 million illegals? And how would you determine who is good and deserves to be let back in?
It's easy. See, unlike some of these jokers on stage, I'm a businessman and I know how to get things done. All you do is you go to every door in America, you knock and you say, "Are you an illegal immigrant?" And if they say yes or "que," then you kick them out. Then, when you're trying to decide who to let in, you ask them, "Are you a leeching rapist?" And if they say yes or are currently raping someone while you're asking them the question, you don't let them in. It's very simple. It's common sense.
And what about the illegal immigrants who aren't coming from Mexico?
Look, Megyn, we're here to talk about real issues, okay? Not hypothetical situations where there are non-Mexican illegal immigrants, all right? Let's stick to the issue.
So true. So true. Governor Walker, your thoughts on immigration?
What we need to do is what I did in my state, which is enforce voter ID laws to make sure that only citizens are voting. Also, we need to strengthen our border and protect it with people and guns and those things that go...
You mean tanks? Rocket launchers? You mean grenades? Okay. Governor Perry? In Texas, I instituted the Texas Dream Act, which offered in-state tuition for illegal aliens, opening up a plethora of academic opportunities. And I even secured the border, even when Obama wouldn't help me. With that accent and those big words you don't really know, you remind me of George Bush. Georgie, what? Get out! This is my time to shine. Governor Bush, I was just kidding. He's not running. Thank God. I thought I was having that nightmare again where he runs for president and beats me. Okay. And closing the issue, Senator Marco Antonio Rubio.
Well, I think that we need to reform our immigration system to make sure that it is more... Has my time not run out yet? I feel like I've been talking for a really long time. Has it run out yet? You know, I mean, I really need the Hispanic vote. But, like, so I support pathway to citizenship, but I feel...
Ooh, I'm afraid you're out of time.
I mean, oh no, I had so much more to say. I can't believe my time is up.
A lot of great ideas on the topic. Now for more, we send it back to Chris Wallace. Chris?
Thank you, Megan. Our next topic is traditional values. How will you, as a president, preserve the values of this country as it relates to religious freedom, gay marriage, abortion, and other moral issues? Senator Cruz, I'll start with you.
Imagine a government that defended the First Amendment rights of every citizen. As a Christian, I told every state to fight the Supreme Court's decision on gay marriage. And as president, I will fight to defend the traditional core values of marriage.
Governor Perry?
Now look, as a dedicated Christian, I might attend a gay wedding if one of my relatives was getting married. But in Texas, we voted to keep marriage one way, and the federal government doesn't have the right to step in and define it how they want to define it.
Governor Christie, your thoughts?
You know, I know what I'm about to say won't be too popular, but the Supreme Court made the decision. What's done is done. If my kids were gay, I'd give them a hug. Sure, they shouldn't be married, but what's done is done. What really matters is we should defend religious freedom. And that's what really matters to a devout, dedicated Christian like myself.
Governor Walker, your position on the matter?
Think about that feeling you get when you see two gay men kissing in public or on television. That automatic, ew, You don't deserve that.
So, what does that mean for your policy?
As president, I will make sure to fight for your right as a Christian not to see those ewy things.
Okay, Dr. Carson.
The issue is that we have allowed a choice, the choice to be gay, to be something that has pervaded our culture. And the people who fight back against this, the people who talk about the Christian values that built this country, we are now being persecuted. And the problem is that these people who speak about tolerance are now the same people who are being intolerant of religious people. And so we need to bring these people together in conversation, in calm, polite conversation, and understand we're not different. And we all have rights, and they all need to be respected.
Mr. Trump, any thoughts on the issue?
We, as a country, need to get back to our roots and defend the sanctity of prophets.
Mr. Trump, we're talking about religion, and due to your controversial previous stance of pro-choice, I think it would be wise of you to delve into the topic matter.
Yeah, here's the thing. I did used to be pro-choice, but then one of my good friends knocked up his mistress, and as a good friend, I took her to the abortion clinic. Have you ever seen an abortion? It's disgusting. I literally threw up all over my Armani suit, and from that day forward, I pledge that I have a deeply seated moral obligation to stop abortion.
And what about gay marriage?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that gays should be able to be married. But, I don't have a problem with gay people. It was actually a gay person who picked out this outfit for me today, and I look fabulous. Well, I wasn't sure he was gay, but, he seemed kind of fruity, with the hands and the hips and the Katy Perry t-shirt. But my point is, we don't need to be mean to gay people as people. We just need to respect marriage and what it stands for.
Thank you. Governor Huckabee.
We've thrown away our Christian principles, especially in defining marriage. Abroad, Christians are persecuted and violently attacked all over the world. And at home, Christians are assaulted for holding on to their beliefs and believing in the principles that made this country. The fact of the Bible is that gay and transgender people just aren't natural. And hey, had I known I could just be feminine in high school, I would have pulled that out real quick to get out of shower time after gym class.
Whoa, Governor, those comments are a little out of line.
What? Did you hear what Trump just said? Why is he allowed to say that? You're not the only one who can say inflammatory and ridiculous things. You don't have a monopoly on that.
Can we please get back to the issue? Let's hear from someone less risky. Governor Bush?
This president has waged a war on Christianity against groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor, making them do things that they don't agree with. It's their right to oppose Obamacare. And when I'm president, I will empower religious freedom and keep the government out of religion's hair.
Well, sorry, your response was just so cookie cutter. I thought about cookies, and then before you know it, I was passed out. Senator Rubio, your take on this.
What we need to deal with is the growing intolerance towards people, especially Christians, who oppose same-sex marriage. Stop infringing on our rights. All we want to do is have the same rights as every other American, and just because you don't agree with our lifestyle doesn't mean that you are allowed to infringe on those rights.
Absolutely. Senator Paul, the final word.
Well, first of all, I believe that government has no place in marriage, and whenever they get involved, all they do is complicate it, tax it, and regulate it. That being said, I do believe that marriage should be between a man and a woman, and that doesn't mean that gay couples can't have anything. I believe they should have binding legal contracts that establish rights and obligations between the two parties, but not marriage.
Certainly seems fair to me. Well, now I'll turn it back over to Brett, who has the next question.
This summer, the Supreme Court also voted to allow Obamacare to set up federally run healthcare exchanges. If elected, how will you fight this? Governor Perry?
Americans deserve better than Obamacare, and I promise to repeal it on day one. We deserve a eloquent, well-spoken, glasses-wearing, state-funded healthcare system.
Senator Cruz?
I will do everything in my power to repeal Obamacare. I've already read Green Eggs and Ham on the Senate floor. I feel like I've already done all I can.
Very brave actions and an excellent display of reading ability. Governor Walker, your plan?
We need to repeal it, which is why in my state, I expanded our state health care called Badger Care Plus. Seriously, that's what it's called. And what I did was I made sure that with the money we saved from implementing Obamacare, we could use it to make better health care for our whole state.
Wait, what was that about implementing Obamacare?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not sure if he's dodging the question or legitimately forgot what he's about to say. You have to give him some slack. I heard he's got a fetal alcohol syndrome.
Mr. Trump.
Sir, I do not have fetal alcohol syndrome. That was a rumor spread by my opponents when they were trying to recall me as governor. Look, honestly, either way, the fact of the matter is we don't need a drunk baby in the White House. So let's just move on to the next issue.
Since you seem so aggressive, Mr. Trump, how will you repeal Obamacare?
Easily, and with a pen stroke, as soon as Congress sends the bill to my desk. By the way, that desk will be golden.
Senator Paul, can you please follow that up?
The thing is, everyone likes to talk about how bad Obamacare is because that will appease the Republican political machine. But the fact of the matter is that even under Republicans, the government has become way too involved in healthcare. And what I think we need is a fundamental readjusting of the way government is involved in healthcare, by which they are not involved in healthcare.
Okay there, Mr. Anti-Establishment. Now let's hear from the establishment. Governor Bush?
Obamacare is flawed to its very core. As president, I will bring about a system that makes sense and works for the people. Doesn't my voice just assure you that? It's so much more calm than the last two.
Very true. Governor Rubio, your plan to repeal Obamacare?
We need to repeal Obamacare and replace it with a system that is focused on the customers and allows it to operate in the free market. It's such a 20th century idea that government needs to be involved in healthcare. Just look across the world, in the developed world, and you will see that government is not involved in healthcare, and that's how it should be. Universal healthcare is not something that is the job of the government.
Universal healthcare is a thing of the past. Governor Christie, here's the deal. And my advisor's not going to like this, but I'm going to tell it as it is. Just look at them over there sweating their balls off. They're worried I might say something like sweating their balls off on television. And it's true. Obamacare in the state of New Jersey has freed up a lot of state money for other healthcare initiatives. But it's still been a failure overall, and we need to get the federal government out of healthcare. Dr. Carson, any insights on how to stop Obamacare?
Well, I know a thing or two about healthcare. The issue with Obamacare is that it's about government control and restrictions, and that's not what we need. We don't need government getting involved in this. What we need are health savings accounts, which allow parents and families as well as practitioners to find the best care, to find the affordable care that everyone can have. And let me tell you, as a former surgeon, I know that that's very important for people when they're trying to find what fits them. They need to see what fits them. These are individuals. These are people. We like to just, the government likes to lump everyone together like everyone's the same, but just this big conglomerate. No, these are people. And they have goals, and they should all be able to have health care.
Nice thought. Can any of the candidates besides Dr. Carson give any real plans on how they'd replace Obamacare?
I mean, the whole thing's a mess.
Obamacare, healthcare.
Well, it's
I don't like Obamacare.
Who likes Obamacare? Can't. Anything in healthcare would be better. As long as it's not Obamacare, healthcare would be better as long as it's not.
Fair enough. As long as it's not Obamacare, it must be an improvement. Megan, your next question, which I'm sure will be very cute. Thank you, Brett. Moving from domestic to issues abroad, candidates, what do you think is the biggest issue facing America's national security? Governor Huckabee, why don't you start us off? We've gotten to the point as a society where we're friendlier to Iran and ISIS than we are to our allies in Israel. If I'm elected president, not only will I sort out the issues in the Middle East, but we will conquer it too. Do you mean conquering the problems or the Middle East? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But as long as I'm president, we will continue to do God's work, and we won't apologize about it. Senator Paul, your thoughts?
Well, as we've said, it's these radical Islam haters out there who are the real enemy, and we can't be allowing President Obama to be unilaterally making agreements with foreign countries without Congress's approval. And the thing is, we need to make sure that our military is robust enough to defend against every attack, strong enough to fight every enemy, and fabulous enough to outshine Katy Perry. But the issue here, the other issue, is that we need to stop being involved in nation building abroad. I mean, we can't even develop our own nation properly. Why are we getting involved in foreign nations?
Governor Walker, your take on stopping radical Islam?
We need to repeal it. I oppose it and despise it, which is why I expanded my state-run Badger healthcare system.
Governor Walker, we've moved on to talking about national security.
Oh, well then, can I get 2 Big Macs and a side of fries?
No, Governor Walker, this isn't McDonald's. We're talking about national security.
Oh, well, in terms of foreign policy, I think that Iran should...
Ooh, I'm sorry. Your time is up, Governor Walker. Governor Perry, your take on this? As long as Obama proliferates his path of appeasement, this country doth cross a path to doom and despair. And...
Wow, he totally forgot what he was about to say. Look, Rick, just because you're using big words you don't understand, and you popped out the lenses to your 3D glasses after you saw Jurassic World, doesn't mean any of us are fooled into thinking you're smart, okay?
Whoa, let's get back to the matter at hand. Mr. Trump, what are your plans on national security?
Here's the thing. This president is literally the weakest president in U.S. history. He couldn't beat FDR in a leg press competition, okay? I bet you Obama couldn't beat McCain in a pull-up competition, and his arms only go up to like here. And by the way, when my arms are up here, you can see my watch. Diamond encrusted, golden, beautiful, $200,000. I just wear that on my wrist. Why? Because I want to. Because I'm a winner, unlike these bozos up here.
You want to talk about pull-ups? You still haven't responded to my challenge.
Well, Governor Perry, how about you peruse the dictionary for a while, find out what the word peruse means, and then get back to me about that. See, that's the issue. We have all these jokers up here on the stage. Why do you think we're losing to China right now, huh? Why do you think we're constantly losing to China? All these jokers in the government.
In what arenas are you referring to?
The Quicken Loans arena, right here. We're losing to China every day because this government doesn't know how to handle them. I know how to handle China. I've dealt with China. Just last week, sold a hotel to an Asian guy. I think he was Chinese. Li or Ping or Ling. I can't remember his name. I think he was Chinese. But I sold it to him for $20 million. I made $10 million off that deal. I did that last week. I do that for fun. That's in my spare time. That's what we need. We need this country to start winning against China. And when I'm president, I guarantee you we will constantly be winning against China.
And what about ISIS and other groups that threaten them?
No, Megan. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you my plan to defeat ISIS on television. They're watching, you know? I have my plan. I'm going to keep it secret. And when I become president, I will destroy them. I will find them and I will destroy them to every single last person.
Any thoughts on national security, Senator Cruz?
So many great points, Don Juan, my main man.
Senator Cruz, please stop trying to be Donald Trump's running mate and answer the question.
Whoa, who said anything about running mate? I'm my own man. I'm running for president. We didn't talk about that in any secret meetings. Come on, you gotta be independent in this thing.
On national security, Senator Cruz?
Absolutely. Imagine a president who stood by Israel no matter what. I will wage war, and I will call it what it is. Radical Islam. We'll win this war like we've won every other war, like the war on terror, and the war on drugs, and the war on poverty.
That's true. Very good precedent for that plan. Dr. Carson, the floor is yours.
You gave me the floor, like on the ground. See if I were one of those like super PC people I would get very upset about, but I'm not. I've actually found that quite humorous. Great sense of humor. But see, let's get back to the issue. The issue is that we're thinking about national security as Republicans and Democrats, and we don't have to do that. Why do we need to bring this partisanship into defense? We should all care about protecting our national security and making sure that our military is strong enough to be able to fight ISIS and fight these other threats. Because, you know, this is our country. We have to protect our country, and we have to all care on both sides of the aisle about keeping it safe.
Certainly. Governor Christie, an alternative take on this policy?
Look, I'm going to tell it as it is. Here's the God's truth, 110% truth. We need an America that's strong and will defend our allies and fight our adversaries.
That seems to be common sense. Your idea, Senator Rubio?
We need to abandon Obama's concessions to Iran and support our ally Israel. We need to expand military spending because right now at only 18% of our budget, we are only #1 in the world by this much. We need to grow that and become a stronger force where we are no longer facing threats from other nations. We need to get out of the past when it comes to our foreign policy. We need to return to the policies of Teddy Roosevelt, which involve either getting involved militarily or not being involved because of these world governments. They don't help. They don't solve the issue here at hand.
You mean like we did in the 20th century?
No, not like that. Because we have 21st century weapons and tactics and issues. So it's futuristic. It's the 21st century.
Okay. And finally, Governor Bush.
Over the last 8 years, the Obama, Clinton, Kerry team has led U.S. troops into one disaster after another throughout the world. When I'm president, I will stand up to ISIS, and I will stand up to Putin and tell him in a calm, electable voice that he won't be allowed to be the bully of the world.
Very electable response. Well, I'll turn it over to Chris now for his next question.
Thanks, Megan. You know, we've dealt with some very important matters tonight, but some issues still have not been addressed. As a presidential candidate, what is your view on the killing of Cecil the Lion?
Alright, come on. Why is this even an issue, okay? I've hunted lions worth twice as much as that loser, alright? That's what I don't understand. Let's get back to the real issues. How are we going to secure our border? You know, El Chapo thinks he's going to come after me. Oh, I'd like to see him try. I'll beat that guy up. You know, I hope he's right here. I hope I'll see him backstage. You know, I'll take that guy on whenever. I'll take all these issues on, and I will win, as I always do, because I'm a winner.
Well, we're running out of time here. You know, it's hard when you have 10 candidates. So we're going to go through a lightning round of a few issues. Guns?
More of them. More of them.
Energy?
More U.S. oil. Keystone Pipeline.
Education?
School choice.
Why not Hillary?
Benghazi.
Benghazi. Yeah, Benghazi. Absolutely Benghazi. Definitely Benghazi.
Her failed foreign policy would just continue as it did under Obama. I'm confused as to what you're saying, Senator.
Her foreign policy is bad because
Benghazi?
Benghazi.
Benghazi. Yeah, Benghazi. Absolutely Benghazi. Definitely Benghazi.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I've just received word that the post-debate polls are in, and Donald Trump has expanded his lead, now holding 40% of likely primary voters. Well, we all tried our best, but apparently people still think he's our guy. At least we also got Fox News ratings up. Well, we'll see you next time. Donald Trump and whoever is left go at it again.
This has been a presentation of Fox News, your home for fair and balanced news, both during and after the election season.
Well, that was quite a debate. Things are looking pretty clear now, and there's one thing I'm absolutely sure of. I would win a third term over any of these bozos. Obama out.
Should we add a bloopers reel at the end, man? That's what the people want, that behind the scenes.